Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today I want to talk about the Bitcoin tsunami that is coming. It's already started. We're seeing Bitcoin blanket over the world and the financial industry, especially the banks. I have some interesting things to talk about in terms of the tsunami that's just covering up what exists now with Bitcoin. And it is something that you don't want to miss. And also, I know Bitcoin dipped a little bit today, but that's quite okay. That's actually normal. Something that me and the guys from DCA kind of predicted, and now it's coming true. But let me explain why you should not be panicking. All right, guys, let's get started. As always, smash up the like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, articles, and guides on CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Are you ready for the tsunami? And that is Bitcoin and Ethereum and crypto that's about to take over the world. Did I say Anthony versus Peter Schiff yesterday? No. I mean, those two guys, they're just, they're like friends now. I can't take their debates serious anymore. Because they go back and forth. And Peter's never go give in. And they're just like trolling each other at this point. But I will watch it later. But I did watch something else that I think you guys will enjoy. I'll get to that in a little bit. So, Bitcoin's at 44,000. And again, not that I really hear. Today it's not like previous days where people in the live chat is like, oh, the world is falling, Bitcoin is coming down. I'm not seeing much of that, so that's good. That's good. But you could see Bitcoin is taking a little breather, and this is something on Sunday's show, me, Rob, and James, we're all saying, well, this week could be a consolidation week. We could take a breather because Bitcoin has gone up quite a bit, right? And then we were proven wrong Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, because things were doing good. And I'm like, I'm glad to be wrong, right? I'm glad to see the market go up. But now we're seeing a slight breather. But I'd like to remind you guys that this is perfectly normal. Just like this breather that we had before when Bitcoin cracked 41, went to 42, went down to 37, and then boom, we made another high, right? So it could be something similar like that. I mean, Bitcoin does not go up forever, though a lot of us do want to see that. But periodic breaks and consolidations is just fine. Lets everything reset. Let the market cool off. And it gives good buying opportunity. Unfortunately, yesterday, I did DCA last night, and I'm like, I hate to DCA on an up day because you're supposed to DCA on a down day. That's how you benefit. You bring down your cost average. But you know what? I was sticking to my schedule. Today would have been a much better day to DCA, but that's not the point. You're not trying to time top or bottom. You're trying to do it over the long haul. So you set a schedule and you stick with it no matter what. Even though the day afterwards it could come down, but who knows? It could turn right back up too. So DCA still is the best plan of attack for those of you guys that are new. You don't know how to enter, even if you're not new. I get asked all the time, hey, is this a good time to get in? Is this a good time to get in this or that or whatever, right? You don't know. You don't know, so that's why you DCA, you sprout your buys, and you hodl. So that is the best strategy. That's the best strategy. All right. So besides Bitcoin coming down a little bit overall, the market, I mean, honestly, the market is still doing fantastic. We're barely below 1.9. So we went down about 100 billion yesterday from today. We were at 1.95 billion. Today we're at 1.84 billion. BTC's dominance is still below 45%. So overall, everything is moving down around the same rate. But you know what? Yes, 24 hours may look horrible, but then just look at the last 7 days, and then just look at the last 30 days. And if that still doesn't convince you, look at the last year, then you'll realize we're doing just fine. But in case you need to be, reemphasize, I mean, if you need to look at a metric that emphasizes what I'm saying, well, I decided to pull this up. And this is due to an interview that some of you guys mentioned yesterday, and that is this interview with Ben Cowen and PlanB. PlanB doesn't show his face. Unusual voice, a very deep and European voice. But nevertheless, the two had a good, interesting conversation. Ben brought up a lot of his regression charts and a lot of things about tops and bottoms and correlating how our current cycle looks very much like the 2013 cycle. But the interesting thing is, PlanB came out and said, I don't really care about that. Like, these are outliers according to him. Tops and bottoms are outliers because he makes examples like you can't predict China kicking out the miners. You can't predict COVID happening. There are things that you can't predict. So these tops and bottoms, they're outliers. They're not really important. And what he's focused on is averages. What really matters is average over long haul, which is why he relies so much on the stock to flow. And he also did call out a naysayer saying, oh, it broke. We broke below the stock to flow or whatever, but no one ever complains when it breaks above. And that's true. That's really true, right? But overall, I think the two guys had a very good conversation, very, very technical if you guys care about that. But take a look. Take a look at the interview when you guys have a chance. But, I just want to show you the stock to flow. This is the stock to flow versus the price, where it's predicting that Bitcoin will go to at least $100,000. And there's a couple, shaded areas where it shows Bitcoin and the stock to flow model deviating from where it should be. And many people, sorry, I gotta silent that. And many people always, the naysayers always like to call like, oh, it's about to break below and it's going to be invalid, this and that. But you look at 2013, you look at 2017, Bitcoin broke to the upside. Same thing with 2011. It broke to the upside, broke out of the stock to flow, yet no one's complaining. But when it comes close to the bottom, people complain. Although, if you look at it, it hasn't really deviated from this model on the downside. It's getting close, or it got close when Bitcoin went to about 28,000, but still, it's on track. It's on track. And I've shown this before, there's two models. There's a stock to flow model and stock to flow X model. Quite honestly, I don't know the difference between the two, but one model's that Bitcoin will go to about 250,000-ish, and one model's that'll be right at 100,000, and that is the green lines, the solid green and the light green. And you can see the red is where we are now versus previous cycles. And if we mimic previous cycles, if we do have something like 2013's, blow off top, then Bitcoin will shoot up close to $1 million. But if we have something similar to the 2017 run, it'll be between the two models and we'll settle somewhere between $100,000 and $250,000. So, is this going to be accurate? Is it going to come true? Well, we'll see. We'll see. But the law of averages usually is pretty accurate. And if you look at this over the last 11 years, I mean, it looks pretty good. It looks pretty good. Maybe one day it'll be invalid, but right now, it's looking like it's right on track. So those of you guys that are scared of day-to-day volatility, don't sit back, relax, zoom out, and you realize we're right on track. All right. So I just want to start with that. What else is there? What about the tsunami I'm talking about? Well, you guys know it's already here. The tsunami has started blanketing the world already, and you're hearing more and more and more about Bitcoin adoption, usage, buying, everything, right? But I saw this headline today. 55% of the world's top 100 banks reportedly have crypto and blockchain exposure. Think about that. Over half of the world's top 100 banks already have crypto and blockchain exposure. And some of them are already offering crypto and blockchain services to their clients. So I know you guys remember hearing about this. This came out yesterday. PNC Bank is offering crypto to their clients with this collaboration with Coinbase. So they're going to let their customers, and I remember PNC Bank was actually very, very negative towards Bitcoin. I remember one of my best friends who had an account at PNC, they told him not to buy Bitcoin. I think they shut down his account before. And that was only a few years ago. So, a total 180. Right now, they're going to partner up with Coinbase and say, hey, if you want to buy some Bitcoin, do it through us. I'm sure they're going to collect some kind of fees or something. But yeah, that's happening. Of course, You have JP Morgan that launched their in-house Bitcoin fund for their private bank clients and for their wealthy clients. So yeah, it doesn't really surprise me at all that these banks, they're secretly buying and they're offering to their clients. It just makes sense. But this caught me by surprise, 55%. So that's quite high. And I haven't shown you guys this for quite some time. This sorts out the top 100 banks. Okay? This is a lot. A lot of banks out there. The funny thing is, if you place Bitcoin and Ethereum into this list and sort them out by market cap, Bitcoin is the biggest bank on earth. And Ethereum, surprisingly, is the second largest bank, right above Bank of America and below JP Morgan Chase. So that's how big Ethereum is now, at a market cap of $356 billion. It could be categorized as the second largest bank in the world, and pretty soon it will be the largest and surpass JP Morgan Chase. But here's the thing. You look at the total market cap of all of these banks, okay, there's 288 companies. I know that this was about the top 100, but the top 100 makes up most of the 6.6 trillion market cap. Think about it. Over 50% of these banks now have exposure to Bitcoin and crypto. And that number is only going to rise. That exposure may be very little. So that exposure is going to rise, and the number of banks is going to rise. See, this is where the tsunami is coming in, right? You guys get my analogy. So it started already, but it's going to be a lot bigger and more devastating to the financial industry. Bitcoin is a tsunami that's ready to take over and just wipe out everything. So, just want to share that. I think that's pretty interesting, pretty fascinating. Hopefully this keeps you guys focused on the future, because this is happening. This is happening. This is not wishful thinking. In 2017, this was wishful thinking. 2017, we all wanted more adoption from the banks and financial institutions and Wall Street and everyone else, and even countries, right? It was just wishful thinking back in 2017. Now, fast forward 4 years later, it is not. This is happening. It's already happened, and it's going to happen more. So there you go. Here's another one. DBS, which is one of the biggest banks, the biggest bank in Singapore, has just gotten approval for cryptocurrency services. So again, going to the same point, every single bank out there wants exposure to crypto, and in this case, for crypto payment services. Interesting. And allow institutional investors to trade Bitcoin. Yes. So either they have to buy Bitcoin or they're going to partner up with some crypto exchange. But again, every single bank wants exposure to Bitcoin. So let that sink in. All right, what else is there? This is a country. Iran's tax authority, their equivalency of the IRS, wants to legalize crypto exchanges. So yeah, I've heard of a lot of miners moving to Iran too and getting involved with Bitcoin, or the country overall getting involved with Bitcoin for not so good reasons, because they want to get away from sanctions. But nevertheless, when you have countries that have turmoil, financial instability, or just citizens that want to flee and want to do it with some kind of way to store their value, store their wealth, right? It's no better than Bitcoin. And we know El Salvador's coming soon. El Salvador's going to turn up. I think it's this month or next month. This month or next month, they're going to turn Bitcoin into legal tender. So they said originally it was 3 months to prepare for it. So I don't know. That should be coming pretty soon. But besides that, we have Paraguay that's also trying to do the same thing, at least for businesses for now. We know other countries are thinking about it, and we have other countries like Iran that's already fully embracing it, and Kazakhstan and other countries too. So again, this is part of the tsunami. It's just Bitcoin is just taking over. It's taking over. All right, lastly, Poly Network. The latest with Poly Network is the hackers return about half of the funds. And I saw an article on CNBC basically declaring that the hacker or hackers just did this for fun. Okay, I don't know if they did it for fun. I think they just screwed up. They didn't know how to cash out what they took. So now they're trying to toy with Poly Network. But anyways, about half the funds have been returned. The other half is still missing. And yesterday they made declaration they wanted their Tether account unlocked or something like that. And I guess they made more declarations in terms of making sure that these funds go back to the people. Because if you look through the tweets, everyone is wondering how this is going to be redistributed back to the holders or the ones that lost their funds on the network, right? So I don't know. Poly Network has a good plan for that. If they don't get all of it back, then they have to decide how to divide it up, and it's not an easy thing to do. So anyway, so this is still ongoing. It's not a good look. It's not a good look. I see every publication, not even outside of crypto publications, that's just talking about, the $600 million hack and it's just horrible, and that's why crypto can't be trusted and this and that, but the whole thing is, if you just took, a few minutes to understand what happened and realize that crypto is all about securing your own funds, right? You have to be careful. This is how it works, right? If you don't control your own keys and you allow someone else to control it, well, there's a risk. There's always a risk, especially when there's projects that's promising you thousands and thousands and thousands of percents of APY for your crypto. That should ring a bell that there is risk to that. So anyways, outside of that, that's pretty much it. I mean, overall, I think today is a recovery day. For those of you guys that's been waiting for a buying opportunity, today is a good day. Today is a good day. I mean, it could go down more. Yes, it could go down more, but seeing how hot things are and how we are in the latter half of this year, we're about halfway through August already, which is pretty amazing. Time is flying. But, September's around the corner, October, November, these are usually the months where Bitcoin gets really, really, really hot. So, yeah. All right. So let's do some Q&A. Can nulls Jasper? I remember you, Jasper. Can nulls replace Ethereum? Could. Yes. Is it likely? No. No. Lambos and mansions for everyone. How can you not have 1 billion users? I'm getting there. 500,000 users coming around the corner. So that's a ton. A ton. Have you heard of Core Token? Any thoughts? If so, no. I realized recently, I was looking at all these streams and super chats yesterday, people asking me about all these old projects and ones that haven't been talked about, and it always catches them off guard. I'm like, where are these questions coming from? And then I check the coin index or live coin watch, and I realized, they all pumped up like 30, 40, 50%, and that's the only reason why people are asking, have you heard of this, have you heard of this, have you heard of this? See, that's not the right way to do it. You don't want to FOMO in something once it pumped up 40 or 50%. You want to get into something before it does that. That's how you make the money, right? You buy low, you don't buy high. So that's the unfortunate thing. But I can't keep up with everything. But it's just funny that most of these random super chats from, random people that's asking about random projects, a lot of it is just dictated on whether or not they pumped. All right, anyways, what's the 6-month code? Well, I gave it out. I gave it out last week, so you'll have to go back and rewatch all my videos to get it. For these monthly codes, I only give out once. That's why I'm rewarding you guys that are loyal watchers, so you never have to rewatch any of my videos. You get it, but I did give it out already. Any thoughts on MBX, stellar project for paying bills and everyday payments? Why would you need a crypto company for that, though? That doesn't make much sense. MobiCoin, I have heard of this project before, but they're beyond that. They're beyond that. Join the whitelist. I don't want to join the whitelist. Universal payments and rewards ecosystem. So you could do swap, you could pay for things, NFT, analytics, gaming, everything, all in one app. Okay. Good amount of people on the team. Do I recognize some of these guys? No, I don't. No, I don't. I must be thinking of another project. It sounds very similar. Okay. Again, I hope you didn't ask me because it pumped up like 90% within a week. Relatively low market cap. I can't tell you more than that, but it does seem like they're all in one app. Payments app, DeFi app, NFT marketplace app, all in one. So maybe too encompassing, but then again, I haven't looked into the team, so can't tell you more than that. Super Doge, appreciate it. Marshawn, Nulls Deep, yup. Axie has just been too hot. Too hot. Axie just keeps going up. In fact, yesterday I think it pumped up 40% or 50% or something. It is sitting at 3.8 billion, man. For those of you guys that got in early, Axie came out years ago. For those of you guys, this can't even calculate a 1 year growth. I mean, if you look at Axie's growth, it's tremendous. And that's because they have a really good game. They have a really good viral game. A lot of Asian countries, I hear, their citizens are utilizing Axie to earn income. Not only passive income being their like main source of income. There's a lot of, I mean, it's really, really adopted. But I can't get into something after it pumps up so much. Like I have to wait for it to come down, but it just never seems to come down. It just keeps like going up and up and up and up and up. Ben, I don't agree. I don't know why people keep asking that. Yeah. No one knows. No one knows. People make predictions all the time, but you don't need to ask someone else to verify if they agree with that. You just need to decide whether or not you believe in it. And if so, then you better, set a schedule to start taking out profits. That's what you need to worry about. When will the bull run officially end? Never. If you look at this, Bitcoin's bull run has never ended. If you expand out your time frame, it has never ended. It's going. It's still going. But I know what you're talking about in terms of the 4-year cycle. It could come at the end of this year, or it could extend in 2022 because of all the institutional adoption. I don't think those guys are going away. They're not just going to say, okay, it's December, I'm going to sell out. No, that's not how they work. So it's anyone's guess at this point. It's anyone's guess. There's a lot of metrics, right, that measure this kind of stuff. So as we get closer to date, I'll show you guys. But right now, it's anyone's guess. Can Cardano replace Ethereum? Yes. It has the potential to do so. Whether or not it will, that's unknown at this point. There's still a lot of hype, obviously, around Cardano and its projects within the ecosystem. But ultimately, we need Goguen to be done. After that, there's still 2 more phases. So that doesn't mean the whole chain is done. We need that to be done, and then we need to see it perform and get in, hundreds or thousands of dApps on board, just like Ethereum. That's how it can replace Ethereum. But whether or not it does, that's a different story. Don't pay your bills with crypto. I believe in that. I don't think. Like right now, I think it's just silly to spend your crypto. Right now is when you want to accumulate as much crypto as you can, right? Like it doesn't matter how much crypto you have. I just think spending it right now is just not the right move. Until Bitcoin, goes to $1 million, it's just right now. It's just not a right time, in my opinion. Most undervalued crypto in top 25, according to you. Where was that be? That's right here. Yeah, I would say that's either VeChain or Theta. I would say the two. Matic is close too, but I would say probably VeChain. Probably VeChain. I like Lionel. I like decentralized. I like Decentraland. They have not been doing that well, but I think they'll come back. They're still 1.7 billion. But it's a whole virtual world, and you could do whatever you want in it, and everything is an NFT in there. So the bigger it gets, the better Decentraland or Mana will do. So I like them. Is it a good time to start taking 1% profit every single day? It's never a bad time to take profits. You just have to figure out what's right for you, right? I think the main reason why you want to take profits is to lock in the profit, of course, yes, but no. The main reason is to have cash on the side so you could buy the dips. Because if you don't need to buy the dips and you're just going to hold it for the next 5 to 10 years, regardless if Bitcoin forms at the top and comes down, you're holding regardless, right? But the thing is, do you have that cash on the side to be able to take advantage of dips? So if you don't, then I think it's more important for you to start taking profits. So to have that cash, 10, 20% of your portfolio in cash, so that if things go down, you can take advantage, right? So I think that's important. So whether it's 1% per day, 10%, every high or something like that, you have to figure out what's right for you. I have heard of Cadena. It's an all-in-one DeFi play. I believe they are in Southeast Asia. People have asked about it before, but yeah, they've fallen really low, 21 million. Or maybe I'm thinking something else. I don't know if this is the one that's in Southeast Asia or there's another project, but oh no, I got it mixed up. Yeah, this is the project that's started by the guys who started JP Morgan's chain. Yeah, so this is not a Southeast Asia play. I'm thinking about something else. But yeah, it's a new chain that's started by the guys who created it for JP Morgan. So there's some, I guess, credibility there, although no one knows how good a JP Morgan chain is. But yeah, that's about it. I've looked into them before. Nothing really stood out other than the founders. So can't say I'm impressed with the project at this point. Hold on. Jamie, I've never heard that project before, so can't say much. ICP, I'm still neutral on ICP. I know it's been coming back really hard recently, and that's because it dropped like a rock in an ocean. So it's trying to swim back to the top 10, and it has made good progress, but overall ICP, there's just a lot of stuff that's very different, and it's very encompassing, and there's things that, I don't know, I question. So, Brendan says 7 more NBA teams coming on board to Chili's and Socios. Kings announced today. These are bad teams, man. Hopefully they get some good teams like the Lakers and Golden State and, I don't know, the Bucks. But I do like Chili's. I've always liked, ever since I was introduced to them, I'm like, this is a good concept. This is a really good concept to create tokens for sports teams and for fans, so that you can interact. And you could trade these too. Binance actually allows you to trade them, and their own in-house DEX allows you to trade them too. So not only do you get a fan token, but they're valuable that you could actually trade. And the thing is, they're categorized as an NFT play, but they don't actually have an NFT. They don't have anything NFT unless you count these tokens as NFTs. But they could very easily get into NFTs too. So I like them. I like them a lot. All right. So I was actually, those super chats are out of order. So in case you guys are, All Chat Gaming, Ecomi, their premium licensed NFTs are killer. The app VV is hella smooth. Yes, I realize that. So when it comes to licensing on NFTs, it has to be Ecomi. They really have They really have all the licensing, and it's going to be very, very important going forward. I mean, right now, licensing is not really talked about. People just kind of assume in crypto anything goes, and people steal people's like tweets and pictures and all these things because not a whole lot of people are paying attention to them. But when these NFTs are worth millions and millions and millions, like some are already, licensing is going to be important. People will say, hey, I didn't give you permission to do that or use that, right? I want my cut, or I don't allow you to do it at all. So anyways, licensing, very, very important, and Comey has all of them. O3 swap. I don't know what O3 swap is. Very, very small project. Cross-chain aggregation protocol, access multi-chain liquidity sources on one platform. So it's trying to aggregate all these DEXs or AMMs into one. This sounds a lot like 1inch, basically. It's trying to do like what 1inch is doing, but even more encompassing, like 5 different chains. Alrighty. I don't want to connect my wallet. How do I change between chains? Or maybe you can't do that yet. Oh yeah, you could do it here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yeah, so here's their pools. Not that many. Okay, decent project. Here's the thing about these though. When you have swap plays like this, pure swap plays, that could be very, very useful. There's really no reason to buy the token itself. You could just use it, but there's really no reason to buy the token. That's why a lot of times they don't go up. So usually the AMMs that go up are the ones that have pools that people actually want to stake and earn a ton of rewards. That's why like Uniswap and others are so high, right? So O3 looks decent, but I don't know if it's going to really pump because of how useful it is. I still don't know much about Boson protocol. I should. I get asked about it all the time, but I just don't know much about it. All right, last few questions. I have a pretty sum of ADA and some big caps. Now I'm thinking about swapping ADA for ETH. Smart. I can't answer that. The only thing I can say is be diversified. Follow 50-25-25 rule. If you're not, if you're like 90% in ADA, which some people argue will be fine, but for me, I like to say, be diversified. Having some ETH, I think right now is very important. Having BTC is always important. ETH is very important, and then spread out among the others. That's how you balance yourself. Sanil, thank you. Doge or Shiba? I go with Doge. Shiba is still unproven. Although there are a lot of Shiba fans. I gotta admit, Shiba army is very strong. I get comments all the time. Why don't you like Shiba? Why don't you like Shiba Dex? Why don't you, like it more? I mean, just from the number of comments out there, I could tell that a Shiba fan is very loyal, very strong. Almost like Doge fans, but just not quite there yet. All right, I think that's pretty much it. Do you think Engine will ever take off? Yes. Remember I said at the beginning, you want to get things before they take off. Right now, a lot of things are randomly pumping. Engine will get its day. It's definitely one of the premier NFT plays out there. Thoughts on Rally token long term? I think their token economics is interesting. They're getting a lot of influencers and athletes and creators on there, but I think I don't know how to solve their token economic stuff. I think the way they do rewards and stuff like that is fine, but there are some drawbacks. It makes it very hard. You could trade between different tokens, but it's very hard to cash out. And onboarding is also difficult because you have to use cash. So there's some things that I think they need to improve upon, which they are. But if they do, it could be very, very good. Social good token, you get 100% of the purchase price on eBay back in SG. I've used it for months. No one knows about it. Okay. The name sucks, though. The name just sucks. All right, guys. That's it. Overall, today's a breather day. And that's perfectly normal. We need breather days. We can't have things go up forever. It just doesn't make any sense. So you want breather days. Today we're getting it. Maybe we get even more. Maybe tonight, tomorrow, whatever it may be. But if you're scared, zoom out, realize Bitcoin is right on track. And this tsunami is not going to stop. It's going to blanket the financial industry. It's going to blanket the world. And it's only going to get bigger. So if you're not on top of a ship that can withstand a tsunami, you better find one quick, or you go miss out or be drowned in the tsunami. And you don't want to be in either scenario. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash a little like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Take care. Bye-bye. Oh, I like audience.